Welcome to the Roadrunner 89 Investment Network, where we talk about interracial love and marriage. Hope you enjoy Swirl to Investment. Alright, how's everybody doing tonight? I want to wish everybody a happy Friday night. Okay, hope everybody's doing well. If you could just let me know you can hear me by giving me a 1. If not, you won't respond. But if you can hear me, give me a 1. I was having some little technical difficulties with the sound, and I was trying to link up. Okay, you can hear me good. Okay. All right. Good to go. Okay. All right. Tonight's show. Okay, I'm not going live Saturday, so I'm going live tonight. Okay. I have plans for Saturday. Kind of like last week, me and Sandy, we took a little trip. We went down to El Paso, spent some time together. I made some pre-videos, and I think I'm going to do that. Do my work on the weekend when I got time. It's kind of hard during the work week, but we went down to El Paso, and Sandy got the flu, so we ended up coming back home. So I had to take care of her, and which I love taking care of my wife. I just didn't want to see her sick, but she's good now. And right now I'm kind of congested, so I mean that's what happens. She'll get sick, and then I'll get sick, or I'll get sick and she does, and we take care of each other. So, but anyway, I hope everybody's doing well tonight, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. There's a couple topics I want to talk about tonight, okay? And if you see in the title, it says love supremacy and the privilege of being loved by a black woman, okay? I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to use some videos, and I'm going to try not to drift too much, but I want to talk about love supremacy. What is love supremacy? Okay, what I think, to me, love supremacy is when you find true love. When you love somebody and you're pouring everything into them and you get it back. Okay, and you build a life together, have a family, and you grow old together until you don't walk the earth no more. That's love supremacy. Okay, that's truly loving somebody and getting the love back. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about the privilege of being loved by a black woman. And I've said it many times. You find a black woman that loves you, you are blessed. Okay, and I know people are going to go in on me. Well, you can be blessed by an Asian woman, white woman. Yeah, you can. Okay? But there's something special about black women that a lot of us non-black men don't find out, or we never knew. Because maybe most people date within their own racial group, within their own ethnicity, so you don't get to know other groups of women. Okay? But those of us that open up our options to black women, we find a blessing. And white men that are married to black women know what I'm talking about. They know about that hidden treasure. They know about the blessing. Okay? And I'm telling you, when a white man opens up his options to the black woman, very rarely does he come back. He goes with the black woman, he stays with the black woman. Okay? Um, Now, there are always exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, once we open up our options to the black woman, we pretty much belong to the black woman. Okay? And it's because we find out how amazing black women are, and, we see the true treasure. Now, some people say, well, not every interracial relationship works, and they're right. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all flawed. Okay? But based on my experience, based on data, i.e., white men do better off with black women than any other group of women when it comes to love and marriage. Okay? Um, and there's nothing wrong with putting that out there. There's nothing wrong with uplifting the woman you're with. Okay? I would expect every man to uplift his wife. Okay, whatever she is. But for some reason, I get hate when I speak highly of black women. For some reason, I'm not supposed to do that. Okay? And, times people will call me names for that, call me a fetishizer, which is crazy because I've been married 32 years to one woman. But okay. People want to call names and go off talking points or whatever. Okay. But what we're finding out is when we open up our options, we're finding a treasure. Okay. I always knew in my life black women were amazing. I always knew that if I could date a black woman back in the day, that I would be happy and it'd be amazing. I knew it would. But when it happened, I never knew the love would be so good. I never knew I'd be so blessed. Okay? And sometimes people take my humility, me being humble, and sharing struggles I've had in my life early on, and some people will try to weaponize that and use that against me. Okay? And the reason I talk about my struggles and what I had to overcome, is to encourage others that you can do better. You can have self-correction. Okay? And look, I'm not perfect. I've had my flaws. But, through time, hard work, people around me that love me, I was able to pull myself up. I was able to, correct some of the flaws I had. Okay? And that's my whole thing. All right? And us as men, we got to hold ourselves accountable. We got to understand our flaws and fix them. Okay? We can't just go on ego and pride and think that it's going to work out. Okay? But anyway, okay, let's talk about love supremacy. Okay? And yes, love supremacy can be any racial group or any combination. Okay? Love supremacy is just finding true love. Where, and that's a blessing. If you can find that, someone you love that you pour your heart into and you get it back, cling to that. Hold on to that. Okay? And in today's world, that's hard to find. And I would say that we all got to be open. We all got to be able to open up our options. We all have to have that option button. I don't care what racial group you are. I don't care if you're a man or woman. Because you never know where your blessing's going to come from. Okay? All right. Now, what I found that when I look at the data and I go on my life experience, I have found that black women are the best option. Okay? And I'm not just going by my experience and my blessings and say, that applies to everybody. It don't. But when you go into the data, you go in the numbers, you go in the marriages, it shows something amazing happening. It shows black women and white men coming together, having successful marriages. Okay? And and when you research it and you observe in your life, like I have, it makes sense. Okay? We say black women are the most race loyal, and looking at the numbers, most black women are with black men. Okay? And but that's okay, because there are plenty of women. You can open up your options to any group of women or men. Okay? And I always say there's somebody for everybody in every race, every racial group. And I found out when I opened up my options, there was more black women willing to date me than I ever thought. Okay? And maybe because of society and the stereotypes, when I opened up my options, I had slightly low expectations. I thought, okay, black women don't really like white guys, but I'm going to find that one that loves me. Right? And that was my mindset. Because I only need one wife. I don't need a group of women to love me. Okay? Because I have a preference, I don't have to be their preference. Does that make sense? And we're going to talk about preference, and we're going to talk about being desired. Okay? And I'm going to show you some videos. Okay? And I think there's desires, and it's not just based on looks. There's other elements to that. Okay? I've always had a desire for black women when I was dating, right? And people say, well, yeah, you're lusting after them. No, I'm not. I'm not fetishizing them. I just think black women are amazing and beautiful. I always have. And, my love for black women started at a young age. Started before I could ever think about desiring a woman. So, there's so many people that think that I got with a black woman and, she did something to me sexually and then I just went black woman crazy. No, that's not what happened. Okay? I went black woman crazy when I was a boy, when I was a child. Due to the black women that I was around. I always thought black women were amazing. I loved black women as a child. And there was some interaction, and I could feel the love. Now, people say, well, you can feel that way with a white woman, Asian. Yeah, you can. And I have, but there's something different about black women. Something that won my heart over. Okay? And I don't think it's just in my mind. I think it's something that's real. Black women have a big heart. They do. Black women have a lot of emotions. They do. Okay? Some people think that's a bad thing. I don't think so at all. I think that's a beautiful thing. When you have a big heart, you're going to have a lot of emotions. Okay? Whether you're a man or woman, you're going to have that emotion in there. Okay? Us men, we think we're tough if we can not show emotions and just, I guess, be hard asses. But that ain't what a man is. Okay? And the most beautiful thing is when you can connect emotionally with the woman you love. Connect with her spiritually. And I had connection before the physical part. Before. And when it comes to love, the physical should always be last. It should always come with marriage, okay? Not everybody agrees with me on that. But But I stand on my beliefs. I'm not going to say, well, today we're in the modern world, so it don't apply. No, it still applies. You know, but you have to at least make the physical last part, because you got to make sure you're in love, you're compatible. You got to make sure this is who you want to be with. You got to make sure this is your best friend. This is someone you can count on, that's going to have your back. And you got to make sure you love that person the same way back, where you can develop a strong relationship, where you can connect emotionally, connect spiritually. Okay? And once you get there, the physical will never be a problem. That will be the icing on the cake. Okay? And that's, my definition of love: supremacy. Doing it the right way. Okay? Now, you might do it the right way and end up with somebody that's dusty, that's not, that don't have a love like you do. It happens. But you got to be strategic, and you got to look for red flags, and you have to have your standards. Okay? Both men and women. Okay? I'm going to show this video. Okay? And let me say this. Okay? Some of this material might be triggering. Okay? Some people tell me, they say, Roadrunner, just talk about love for black women. Don't talk about black men. Don't put them in there, But if you're going to protect the black woman, sometimes you have to stand up to the ones that are harming black women. Sometimes it's black men. So I don't go in on people for no reason. Okay? That's not my desire. Okay? In a perfect world, we love each other and we're all good men and fighting good women, right? But the world ain't perfect. And as human beings, we're flawed. But if you're going to protect black women, okay, there's more to it than the physical part. Okay, it's emotional, spiritual, protecting the black woman's image. And look, any man that disrespects, women, it is disgusting. Okay? And I'm not talking about calling a woman out because she does something wrong. Okay? I'm talking about bashing a group of women. And so many times I see black men bashing black women. And that's not a good look. Okay? It really isn't. And other groups of people will not respect you. A lot of people don't respect black men. And it's not because their race or who they are. It's because they see them bashing black women on social media. In the media, okay? And it's not a good look. All right? And how can I respect a man that don't respect the women in his community? And especially black women that are the most loving, most loyal. It blows my mind. And I can see the beauty and I can see the blessing in the black woman. And I didn't grow up around black people. Well, there were black people in my neighborhood and at church. That's where my interaction was. But even with little connection with black women, I could see the beauty. And I could fall in love with black women because of their personality, because of their big heart, because of their character, and because of their loyalty. I don't have to be around a bunch of black women to see the blessing in the black woman. Okay? And look, and I share this, number one, because it's only right to uplift the women that you love. My wife is a black woman, so, why wouldn't I uplift black women? I mean, because I seen the beauty and the treasure in black women, that led me to my wife. And I see amazing things that black women do. I do. Okay? But anyway, I'm going to show this video. This is going to be a little triggering. This young lady, she has a TikTok channel I watch and I observe to learn. Okay, she's a black woman. She knows more about black women than I do. Okay, but a lot of the stuff she talks about, I've seen. Okay, I've seen black women go through what she's talking about, and I've seen how black women have been treated by some of the men in their community. Okay, and this might be triggering. Okay, but listen to what she says, and you tell me if she's right or wrong. Okay, but you can watch her on TikTok. I would suggest following her, show her some love. She mainly talks to black women, so if you're a white guy, maybe, I'm just saying. Sometimes just show love in the background. Okay, so she mainly focuses on black women. Okay, but has good content. Okay, but it's kind of low, so really listen. I got my volume all the way up, so hopefully you could hear it good. I'm going to play it all the way through, and then I'm going to talk about it. Okay?
Comment so much.
Okay, she's talking about a comment she got, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says, white men are the leaders in the system. They desperately want to benefit from at the detriment to black women. The portrayal is real. Okay, the words are real small, so it's kind of hard to see. Okay, but anyway, listen to what she says.
I love this comment so much. Read this comment. Absolutely beautiful. See, the thing about black men, what they don't understand as a collective group, is the more you turn on the women who give birth to you, the less the system will ever respect you. See, that's the funny part that these dudes don't understand. They will never offer you a seat at the table because they see how quick you are to turn on your own people. And see, now, let's not forget about the movement of more men dating black women. Because I keep telling y'all, by 2025, you're going to see more interracial relationships that involve black women. Them tables are turning, and they turning real quick. And so when that happens, black men are going to be in an even more disadvantage. God, I can't wait to see it. I love how life throws you the same shit that you dish out. Them tables turning, y'all. And when they're over with, black women as a collective will have the last laugh. Read this comment again, y'all. Love to see it.
Oh, sorry. Dang it. Okay. Now, did you guys hear what she said? Is she right? Okay? and I think she's right with what she said. Okay? White men are the majority men in our country. Okay? In the near future, it'll be Hispanic men. Okay? But here's the thing. When you're part of a system, you think other men... And here's the thing. A lot of black men, they want to be seen as the most desired. They could be with any group of women, which they can, okay? All men can date out and be with whoever they want, and nothing wrong with that. But they want the validation as being the most desired. And a lot of times, I believe that black women uplift black men so much that it goes beyond just loving them and wanting to uplift them. It sometimes turns into kind of a worship, okay? And some of these dusties have a problem with me saying, why are you calling people kings and queens and gods and all this? And the reason I say that, I mean, you can do what you want, but the worshiping part, I don't like seeing women worship men, whether they're black or white, Asian, whatever. You love the men you're with, but you don't worship. The same thing, guys. I don't like to see guys worshiping women. Okay, you love the woman you're with. You love your wife. Okay, but she's not a god. Neither are you. Okay, but anyway, but she was saying that part of a system created by, i.e., white men, they're not going to have respect for a group of men that don't respect the women they came from, the women that gave them birth, the women that have been the most loyal to them. Okay? And that is real. And they might not come out and say it because they don't want to be called racist. And, I'll come out and say it. I don't have respect for men that trash black women. And especially when you came from a black woman and a black woman sacrificed for you to put food on the table, to be there for you, to uplift you, to try to put you on top of the world. And you turn around and you bash them for the most silliest things like hair, weave, or whatever, or skin tone. I'm not saying all do this, so not all. Okay? But seriously. Okay? But a lot of times that's what we see. And a lot of times these men will go up and say white women are better or Asian are better. And it's okay to have a preference and say, you know what? My heart belongs to this group and I think they're the best. But when you constantly trash somebody because they're not your preference. Thing is black women are my preference. If you ask me who's the best option, it's black women hands down. Okay? But I don't hate white women. I'm not going to put it in their face that I'm married to a black woman. Okay? They know I love black women and they're okay with it. And the one thing I could say about white people that I think is a positive, when we open up our options, we're not really going in at each other. Yeah, we might make fun of each other and whatever, but there's not that gender war going on, And most of the time, white men they date out, they don't talk about it, they just live their life. Okay, for me, it's kind of a rarity, okay? And back in the day, before I went on social media, I didn't go around telling people how amazing black women are. And I mean, I would tell them if they asked me, why, what made you marry a black woman? I say that black women are amazing. Black women are the best option. But I didn't go out on a platform and just tell the world this, like I'm doing now. Okay? And there's a misconception that people think white men ain't into black women because we don't hear them going in, for black women and saying how much they love them and, just going hard in the paint for black women. That's not what white men do. We just go with who we want to be with. And if they accept us, we go on our way and live our life. Okay? But here's the thing. And if you want to be the most desired man, because, I've heard, people say, well, this group's the most desired, this group is, and who cares? At the end of the day, as long as you find love, right? But what makes you more desirable as a man is having respect for women. Have your preference. Uplift your preference. But show love and respect to the people in your group. Okay? I'm just saying. Now, I go in on white women at times, like the Becky Spade Brigade, because that's a group of women that are lusting after black men, okay? And they can do that, but it don't make us as white people look good. You know, and these women have fathers and brothers, and you know, and it's not a problem them being with black men, but just total fetish. You know, I just say go who you want to be with. I back it up 100%. Okay? But we got to call out stupid because, you know, and that's my thing. And, you know, some people swirl for lust, some people swirl for an experience. You know, I don't swirl for lust or an experience, I swirl to investment. You know, I dated black women not to for the experience, but to find a wife, because that's who I love. That's my preference. Okay, nothing wrong with having a preference and you're seeking true love in marriage, right? But anyway, what do you think? I think she's right, and it would be in men's best interest. You want other groups of women to see you as valuable? Respect women, all women. Okay? Have your preference, though. Hey, put your preference on a pedestal, okay? All right. And the show that, hey, I'm for the swirl, and, hey, any group. Okay, I'm going to show a white woman that expresses her love for black men. Okay? And, hey, I stand with them. Okay? If it's true love, hey, go get it. All right?
Men. I'm just a.
Okay. She loves black men. Okay? This guy is doing a reaction to her TikTok. All right? And just listen to what she's saying. Look at his facial expression. You know, his thing says, of course.
Hey, black men. I'm just a white girl telling as many black men that will listen how amazing you are, how strong you are, how beautiful you are, both inside and out. And I love you.
Okay, what'd you think? All right, see, now look, she's a white woman. She likes black men. And she said she thinks they're beautiful and amazing and she loves them. Nothing wrong with what she said at all. Okay, he didn't look like he was too enthusiastic about it, but it made it funny because his expression was like, yeah, okay. You know, I guess Becky Sunshine didn't excite him, but what she said, nothing wrong with. There wasn't no fetishizing going on. She just said who she loved. Now, I don't know this woman. She might fetishize, or she might truly love black men. Nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that. Some people think I'm against swirling the other way. I'm not. Not at all. Okay? But my channel ain't about the swirl on the backspin, the other group. Okay? That's not what it's about. But I can show love to people that just love each other. I want them to be successful. I hope she finds that good black man that does it right. Okay? And hopefully it's sincere. But anyway, all right. So the swirling world is real, and as we go through life, as the years go by, more and more people are opening up their options. Okay, and I'm telling you, if you don't like black people, guess what? They're going to be in your family. You can't stop it. Black people, you don't like white people? Get ready. Because you're going to have some family members, kids, grandkids that are going to be white passing, whether you like it or not. And white people, you're going to have some dark complected kids and grandkids. And that's okay. You know, we're coming together as people. People fall in love. Some of us open up our options and go elsewhere. Okay, we find a blessing that's not in our group. Nothing wrong with that. The world's changing. Okay? And I will tell you this. Okay? And I hear the pro-black groups saying white people are going extinct, and they get excited about it like we're going to disappear and never exist anymore. That's not what's going to happen. We're going to procreate with other groups of people. White men are going to procreate with black women, Asian women, Hispanic, Arab. We're doing it already. I look at my family and I'm like, dang, a lot of intermarriage is going on. A lot of people in my family are married to Hispanic people, Asian. I'm married to a black woman. Look, it's happening. Okay? And as long as you find true love, it don't, go where you're loved and celebrated. Okay? But it's becoming more and more of a thing. And, when you look at biracial children, when they grow up, in today's world, it used to be back in the day during segregation and stuff, biracial people would end up going to their black side because of white supremacy said if you weren't fully white, you're not white, so they would throw biracial with black. Okay? And they had so many different terms for different biracial people. It's silly. It's stupid. But that's where society was going. But in today's world, most biracial that are black and white usually marry white people. Okay? Not always, but the majority. And I look at the numbers, and I think it scares pro-black people because they're like, okay, well, black people are mixed racing with white people, and then they have kids and they go white. They're going to all look white. And, and it's stupid to worry about stuff like that. People are going to be people. There's always going to be light and dark people. We're just not going to be white and black like we were in the past. And that's okay. I look at my situation. I got 3 kids. My brother-in-law's got 5. And he got with a white woman, 2 of them, and had children, right? And that's 8 biracial children between my wife and brother-in-law, right? And most of them went white. A couple Asian and Hispanic here and there, but they all, except one, chose black from, his side. And that didn't last. But what I'm saying is there's a trend going. And why is it happening that way? I don't know. But does it matter? It don't matter to me as long as they find good people, right? I want my children to be happy, and so far so good, Both my daughters are with good men that love them, okay? And getting married and having families. Now my son, he's kind of, he loves all kinds of women. I don't even know where he's going. He dates black women, white women, Asian. He don't care. Some people are like that. Me, I wasn't. It was black women or nothing. Okay? But anyway, that's trends that are happening. And don't be afraid of it. We need to raise our children to be good people, to do right, to be successful, regardless of what color they come out. Because they're going to be different colors. That's where America's going. Swirling's big, and it increases every year. Okay? And my thing is hey, if you don't care about a skin tone, then none of that crap matters. As long as you find true love, right? Anyway. Okay. I got another video that's kind of controversial. Oh, wait. Hey, if you got a question, put it in caps, because I'm not... Why do black women choose white men who don't know much about the culture? Gotta learn, but us white men who in it love it, embrace it, and it don't get recognized it's automatic action. Okay, well, look, here's the thing. I'm going to answer your question, the reason why I think it's the way it is. Okay, I think a lot of black women, okay, and not all, but I think a lot of black women that open up their options to date a white man, they want a white man. They don't want, and you might be in that culture, and you might have an accent, and you know, and a lot of times black women see white men that try to be stereotypical black, try to speak the lingo, try to, use some slang words, and they don't want that. I hear a lot of black women say if they date a white man, they want the white man. They want you to be the white guy you are and be yourself. Okay? And I think that's where that's happening. Okay? But some black women like those cultured, seasoned white guys. But I think that's what's going on. A lot of black women want the real deal. Okay? She wants you to be yourself. Okay? And you might speak a certain way and that's yourself, and she might not think it's that way. I don't know. But I've seen black women turn down white guys that weren't spicy enough. They like those vanilla thug boys, you might say. Now, I'm not saying you're a vanilla thug boy. I'm just saying, or let's say culture. Okay? Acting the color is played out. Yeah, but I mean, you could be, in the culture and stuff. But I think that's why a lot of black women are that way. But to really find out, ask black women, that are your friends. Ask them what if they're going to date white men, what do they want in a white man? Do they like a white man that's, deep in the culture, or they want a white man that just acts like the regular white guy? Or whatever that is. But you know what I'm saying. Right? But anyway, let me show this video real quick. Okay, this might be a little controversial. Okay, I showed this video before, but I got a reaction from a pro-black woman that discourages swirling divestment, and tries to play it down to discourage black women from doing it. Okay? And I just want you to hear this, and I'm going to give my take on it.
Is what America actually.
Okay, here we go. Black women are pushing, the only one pushing interracial marriages. Okay, so black women are the only ones pushing interracial relationships, or interracial marriage. Okay, I'm going to tell you why that is. Okay, and it's not all. There's white men out there that embrace interracial relationships, that do, encourage it, like myself, okay? But there's not a big multitude of white men doing that. But white men are dating more black women and marrying more black women than they've done their whole life. So the numbers are growing, increasing. And one thing I could say is when white men marry black women, the marriages are longer lasting. The marriages are stronger. So if a white man marries you, statistically, he's going to stay with you. Okay? And maybe that's where he sees the treasure and knows he's blessed. Okay? But anyway, let me play this. Okay? I'm going to stop in between to break it down a little bit.
The union between white men with power and black women with education is what America actually needs in order to finally heal. And the only obstacle standing in the way of this union is the beauty standard. And when you think about it and look at the media basically polarizes white men and black women to be on opposite ends of the political spectrum and the social hierarchy.
Okay, let me stop before I get there. Okay. All right, so what she's saying is that powerful white men and educated black women need to come together in order to heal. Okay? Now, I agree with this, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Because so called powerful white men are talking about white men that are successful, doing great things, you know, work hard, make a good living, white men of character. Okay? And then he gets with an educated black woman, which educated black woman has character. Educated black woman has sacrificed to improve her education. Black women that did that have provided a way for them to be successful. That shows hard work. That shows character. Now you get a powerful white man and the educated black woman. I think this needs to happen a lot. Okay? Because what it does is you get two successful people together, build a life together, and what people see is people at the top tier doing good things, being successful in marriage, and you have an image of a white man and black woman. That encourages other people to open up their option. It also shows a non-racial bias. It shows these people love each other regardless of their skin tone too. Okay? And black women that are educated and top tier should be with a top tier man. No black woman should ever date or marry down. In fact, she should date and marry up. But so many times, the pro-black women that just want the black man will have to sacrifice, a lot of times, date and marry out or marry down, because black women outnumber black men by over 2 million. And you take black men that are the most to date and marry out, numbers go down. So the choices you have, are limited. And then you got to compete for somebody that's not at your level. I mean, that's not right to me. I mean, and if black women can seek a man that has character, that will love her and not worry about the skin tone, or being caught up in the collective to where and not worry and not feel guilty about who she's with. But these are barriers. Okay? And I would say the key to interracial marriages skyrocketing is not up to the white man, it's up to the black woman. It really is. There are more than enough white men that are willing to date and marry black women. Okay? They might not go out and get on social media and talk about it all night, but they're out there. Okay? But black women a lot of times feel guilty opening up their options. They feel like they're letting the black community down. They're feeling like they're letting their dad down, their sons, their brothers. And that, and because of that, I tell people, I tell white men, do not date pro-black women. Okay? And I'm not talking about black women that love black people. We all love black people, right? I'm talking about the ones that, that have been, taught and conditioned that they're only supposed to be with the black man. Okay? And then she gets attracted to a white man, and then there's conflict going on. Okay? You want to be, if you're going to open up your options to a black woman and you're a white man, you need to get to know that black woman. Make sure she's healed. Make sure she loves you. Make sure she's all into you. Okay? And of course you love her with all your heart, right? Because you don't want to deal with that she feels guilty being with you because you're white. You don't want to be with a black woman that sees you as, a plantation owner in her mind. You don't want that. Because there's going to be animosity. There's going to be anger. There's going to be hurt. There, and like I said, you want the woman that you're with, your wife, to love you with all her heart and put you first. Because you're going to put her first, right? That's what I'm saying. But she feels that powerful white men and educated black women should get together. I agree. And some people say, well, that ain't right. Why do they got to be powerful? Well, you don't have to. I think what she means by powerful is white men that are, successful doing things. Don't have to be necessarily rich or a millionaire, but a man that's got a good career, that's got things going on, that's constantly improving. Okay? Now, with her saying what she said, there's going to be a reaction. Okay? And there's going to be this woman's that's going to come on is going to say how it's only black women that are into white men. Try to push a narrative like white men don't like black women. Or not that many of them, right? But let's continue.
Okay. I meet countless and countless black women who are building a case. They're building a historical case. They are building a political case. They're building a moral case. They're building a socio-economic case as to why swirling or interracial relationships is the way up or way out for America, or just for black women collectively, or just for mankind. I've yet to see white men take this stance. I have yet to see white men go this hard in the paint for the same idea. It's only black women I see doing this. I don't see the collective of white men coming together.
Okay, first of all, let me address this. Why you don't see the collective white men going hard in the paint. White men just don't do that. Okay? White men are dating and marrying Asian women in droves. Okay? They're not going hard in the paint for the Asian woman either. Do you see videos of white men? Oh, women are the best. Asian women. You don't see it. They're not going hard in the paint. But more Asian women in America are married to white men than Asian men. Okay? And more than Asian women, the biggest group that white men are marrying outside their so-called race is Hispanic women. Okay? But they're not going hard in the paint for Hispanic women, are they? And then, most white men are with white women. I haven't seen a video of a white man going hard in the paint for the white woman. White men just don't do that. But she's going to try to make you believe that because they're not making thousands of videos that only black women are interested. That is a lie. That's a misconception. Okay? But here's the thing, and the reason a number of black women are saying that, are telling other black women they should open up their options and going hard for this is because black women are suffering. Only 26% of black women are married in America. Black women are the biggest group of women that aren't married. They're the biggest group of women that are single mothers. And not only that, black women are the biggest victims when it comes to domestic violence, when it comes to being trafficked, when it comes to being unalived. Statistically, black women suffer the most. So yeah, there are some black women looking for an alternative, to being race loyal. Some black women are done. They're just now looking for a good man. They're not down with the pro-black thing. They're looking for a good man that's going to love them, protect, and provide for them. Okay? But white men do not go hard in the paint for any group of women. We just don't do that. I mean, I do it because I got my channel and, and because of my experience, because of my faith, I feel that, I want to express the love I have for black women and how black women have blessed me and how my wife has been a blessing. Now, I go in the paint, but most white men don't do that. They'll marry black women, they'll have children, and live their life and not even talk about it. So don't listen to these pro-blacks that are against the swirl, okay? She thinks black should be with black, and, she says she don't have a problem with it, interracial relationships, but she has a funny way of showing it, trying to discourage it. Look, black women, they're not going hard in the paint for you. Well, I'll tell you this, when they do marry you, black women, they stay with you. And white men stay with black women longer than white women. Let that sink in. So and I'm telling you, white men that are into black women, we move with a purpose. We don't waste time. And we don't care what the world thinks. We're going to do what we want to do. Okay? And some people say, well, talk about white privilege. Yeah, I have white privilege because I could do any damn thing I want to do. But any man can have that privilege. Just do you. But I guess that's white privilege. But here's the thing. Don't let this discourage you. And white men, listen. There are black women that want to date and marry white men. They're out there. Okay? You just got to have the courage to approach. And you got to have the courage to stand up for the black woman you love. Because these dusty idiots will try to check you. They will try to, hate on you because they don't want to see you with a black woman. Okay? Not all, but a lot of black men don't like seeing that. Okay? They believe black women belong to them and all the rest of the women belong to them too. Okay? White men, a lot of times, these guys feel that white men should only be with white women. But do not let that discourage. You love black women, you approach a black woman, you talk to her, you let her know your intentions. And I'm telling you, with a black woman, you be straightforward and you let her know. Okay? Don't just sit there and stare at her. She's going to think you're weird and creepy. Talk to her. Okay? The worst that could happen is she says she's not interested. Oh well, that's part of life. Rejection's part of life. We all go through it. Okay, let's finish this up.
They're banding together, creating whole movements to talk about why their intermarriage with black women is what they need to heal their communities and their country. Let's just assume what you said is true. Well, who created the beauty standard in the West? In a Western society, in a European society set up by Europeans, by their ancestors for the descendants.
Right, yeah. And white people did create the beauty standard. You're right. You know why? Because through centuries, through time, okay, we love the women that we're married to, okay? We put the women on a pedestal. We do. We've done it for centuries, okay? And a man's beauty standard is his wife. So, of course, Europeans that came over that have European wives, they're going to look at that as the most beautiful because that's their wife. Okay? It wasn't because, they don't like black people, so we're going to make Becky the beauty standard. No, they made Becky the beauty standard because they're married to Becky. Okay? My beauty standard is the black woman because I'm married to a black woman. See, this is all trickery crap. Okay? She's trying to show you things, and she's speaking truth. Yeah, that's a beauty standard. But here's the thing. White men tend to respect the women in their community more than black men do in today's world. Okay? The truth is the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and pretend that it's not happening. It is. And you know what? Black women are seeing that. They're seeing how white men treat white women. Okay? And what's made white men successful, Europeans, through time, is they've always protected their women. They've always looked at the women as the treasure, the prize. And God will bless people that take care of the women. That's what it is. Okay? And when a white man opens up his options to a black woman, she'll be treated like a queen. He might not go around saying, hey, queen, this and that. But you'll feel like one. I treat my wife with the utmost love and respect. You'll even hear me praise my wife all the time. Why? Because I love my wife. I mean, we've been together 32 years. She's the mother of my children. Of course, someone praising my wife. And some of these dusties don't understand that. Oh, he's desperate. He's always praising his wife. No, dumbass, I love my wife. You know, if you knew what love was, you'd understand. Okay? But don't listen to this crap. Okay? And it's pretty slick how she did it. Well, look, who made the beauty standard? Well, who were the men married to? And think about it. A man's beauty standard should be his wife. Right? So if there is a beauty standard, it don't mean that the beauty standard is the most beautiful. It don't mean that at all. Men are going to always uplift their wife and put their wife first, which we should. Who we're married to, it is our better half. We become one, right? We're supposed to forsake all when it comes to marriage. You know what that means? That means that the woman that the man's married to, she is everything. And he's not focused on any other women. He can have women that are friends. But what I'm saying is, his wife is his treasure. His wife is the prize. But so many times the black community's got it backwards, where the man's the prize and the woman's the workhorse. No wonder marriage rates are low. No wonder the out of wedlock birth rate's high. Anyway, that's my opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine too, right? No hate. Okay? But anyway, let me put this up real quick, guys. All right? Fair use, fair use. All right? All right. These videos are used for educational purposes, commentary, and opinion. All right? Maybe we'll learn something. Okay. Now, let me show another one here real quick. All right.
Man, and it's
Okay. This guy's a dating coach, right? And he says why black women should date white men. Okay. And let's hear what he has to say.
a black man and is now either married or with a white.
Okay, so this creator is basically talking about how every black woman who's ever been in a previous relationship with a black man and now is with a white man is happier and being treated well. Well, I can't attest to that exact experience because for me personally, I will be honest with everyone out there. I have mostly dated white men. I have never really been attracted to black men, but as someone who had a very unhealthy relationship with their stepfather and a mom who grew up in a generation, and I believe it's still a narrative ongoing today, how black women need to save black men. black women need to be with a black man or it's disrespectful or betrayal in the community. And I just think it's so toxic. I think it is a belief meant to keep black women from having healthy, loving marriages. And I've heard a lot of black women are at abnormally higher rates, more single than any other like type of gender and ethnic group. And I just think that ladies, like, you gotta remember, especially as black women, like, don't just devalue yourself because of your color. Don't go outside and go, well, if a black man doesn't love me, nobody else is gonna want me. Like, what the hell? No. Like,
And I think this is what's going on. There's a little shaming to it. There's conditioning. Like, you're supposed to be with a black man. But that's not reciprocated because black men go with whoever they want. No problem, right? So why can't a black woman do it? You know, and here's the thing. Younger black women today, a lot of them don't have the same ideas or same beliefs as their mothers or grandmothers did. They're looking at it like, no, I'm not going to buy into this toxic crap. Why do I have to be with this one group? Why do I have to fight for this one group of men? And women should never have to fight for a group of men. Women should never have to protest for a group of men, should never have to, you know, the men should be doing that for the women. But what do you think? Is she right? I mean, you know, and a lot of black women are shamed for opening up their options. People do not want to see black women, white men come together. They don't. Okay? And it's not just white people, it's black people too that don't want to see this. But too bad. The world's changing. Okay? But anyway, let's continue.
like, you have the power of choice. You need to realize that you cannot just limit yourself to this idea of saving black men. You got to be with them. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And here's the thing, and I think this is a problem. And when you're in that mindset, like you got to hold the black man down, save the black man, you kind of weaken the black man, I would say, in my opinion, because he's not fighting for himself. You're actually catering to him. You're protecting him. You're providing for him. Okay? I mean, men have to do the protecting. Men have to be humbled. Men have to go through it to self-correct. You know, and no woman should be obligated to protect any man. Okay? And whoever you want to date and marry is your business. You don't belong to a group of people. Just because she's a black woman don't mean she has to be there for the black man. She don't. Just like Becky don't have to be there for the white guy either. Okay? We should be with who we love. And get out of that segregated mindset. Okay? But she's talking about toxicity, and she don't agree with what her mom, you know, believed. And that happens a lot. But I'm telling you, things are changing. Look, when I was dating, I opened up my options. There were young black girls that their mother would tell them to date white men, to date out, would encourage it. I know one black dude that I used to work with wanted his daughters to either be with a white guy or an Asian guy. He did not want them to be with black, and he's a black dude, married to a black woman. And he said, it's not that I don't like my own kind. He says, I want my daughters to be healthy, taken care of. I don't want them to be in that pro-black mindset. I want them to be with a man that loves them. Now, he said if it was a good black dude, he would be okay with it, but he from what he was seeing, the toxicity. There are people that are seeing it. And you get out of that colored mindset and you see people for their character instead of the collective. I hate collective thinking. I think it's destructive. I think it's just ridiculous. I mean, be your own person. I like being an individual. I choose my path. I date and marry who I want to. I don't do what all white men are doing because I look like them. That's just stupid. Okay? But anyway, let's continue.
White teen men are the most desired.
Okay.
White teen men are.
Okay, we're going to talk about who's the most desired. And look, I don't care who's the most desired. That's kind of subjective. Okay? But there are people that say white men are the most desired. And by dating apps and research, they found out that more white men are being, I guess, get more hits or whatever, are being more desired statistically. Okay? But, there's people that say black men are the most desired. Who gives a shit? Okay? As long as you find true love. But anyway, and somebody put a comment that white men are the most desired. He didn't like that. And he's going to check her and tell her that it's actually black men. But anyway, let's hear this.
White teen men are the most desired group, bro. Y'all are the least married group of men. Laughing. This is hilarious because you do know at one point black men were more married, or just black people were more married than any group of men and women in the United States, up until black women started choosing Section 8 and government housing over us. So that should tell you on whose fault it is the black marriage rate dropped. And white teen men are not the most desired.
Okay, let me stop right there. Okay? Now, what he says is true. Okay? At one time, black people were the most married. They were. I've looked it up. Okay? At one time, they were. And I think the reason is black people had to depend on black people. Okay? It was either sink or swim. That was before the civil rights stuff was going on. Okay? He's correct about that. Okay? But what about today? Why can't you be the most married today? And then he says they were the most married until black women chose welfare over the black man. Okay? Honestly, I'm going to call BS on that. Okay? There were a lot of black men at the time that were leaving their families. Maybe because they weren't in love anymore, financial, what was going on. But there were a lot of black women that were married that were abandoned. And so here's the thing. Just because your marriage rates are high don't mean you're in good marriages. Okay? I look at the past and I always thought, man, people had more character. They loved each other more. The marriage rates were a lot better. But here's the thing. Back in the day, women didn't have many options at all. So if they got with an abusive man, a lot of times they were stuck with that. There wasn't shelters for battered women. There wasn't, it wasn't like it is today. So a lot of women went through abuse. So we could say the marriage rates were high, but were they really good, solid marriages? Or were they like marriages that women felt they couldn't get out of? Okay? Today's world, if it don't work, women can bounce. And women can make money today and make their own way. They don't need a man for financial security like they did back then. Okay? But, and here's the thing. Let's say that's true, that black women just kick black men to the curb for welfare and food stamps. Okay? The government kicked the black man out of the home. Okay, let's just say that's true. And it's true. So what are you doing to fix it now? How about you get a job, save some money, buy a house, put a black woman in that house, you get in the house with her, and increase the black marriage rates. How about that? Because an excuse does no damn good when you don't do nothing about it. The marriage rates today is not because of welfare. It's because black men are not marrying black women. And that's the cold, hard truth. You can go with excuses all the time. Well, we were the most married. And what about here and now? I'm just saying your ancestors were great, but you ain't worth a damn. I mean, really. That's really what you're saying. We used to be good. Now I could say, that'd be like me saying, well, my grandfather was, successful, but I live in a cardboard box, but we were great one day. Fix yourself now. Self-correct. Anyway, let's continue.
Alright, race of men, as much as the media tries to make it seem like it's actually black men. I literally explained in the video that a lot of other men have this oppressive mentality when it comes down to dating/marrying women. The woman can't have no opinion. She can't feel like she's being heard. She doesn't get that much respect. She's just seen as a woman and should stay in a woman's place at all times. Versus black men, when it comes down to women, he lets her feel heard, respected, her opinion matters, she has say-so and stuff, etc. Versus a lot of white men and other races of men have this oppressive mentality when it comes down to women. That's why more women are going for black men. Black men are 100% the most desired group of men on planet Earth. The media is just fooling you, dog.
Okay, what do you think? He says black men are the most desired. It's just the media lying to you. All women want to be with black men. That's what he says. Now, I don't care who's the most desired. It don't mean nothing. Okay? There's always going to be somebody more desirable than you. There's always going to be somebody better looking than you, more successful. That's life. But he's saying that black men are the most understanding, most... Okay, why are your marriage rates the lowest? Why is your marriage success rate at the bottom? Why aren't you staying married to black women if you're such good men? And if you're the most desired, why aren't you staying married to the women that desire you? You'd think your marriage rates would be skyrocketing. But, I don't want to just go in on this guy. If you want to believe you're the most desired, go right ahead. But the thing of it is you want to talk marriage rates, what are you doing to fix it? That's my question. You want to say welfare did it, and it's the black woman's fault because she took the money over the black man? Sounds like a cop-out to me. I'm just saying. And a woman that's alone that has children, she's got to get the government assistance, because how's she going to feed her children when she's alone? But anyway. But like I said, I did both sides, Some people saying white men are the most desired. Some say black men. Who cares? Does it really matter? If you got a big ego, it would matter to you, I guess. But anyway.
Men are enamored by black women.
All right, let's hear this video real quick.
I think white men are enamored by black women. I think they see our beauty in a way that black men don't. And they appreciate our strength in a way that black men don't. So when you're with a white man, they let you do whatever you want. You literally feel like it's the princess on a cloud. You're like, they ask you, what do you want to eat? Like the one guy who I was with. Lovely, very wealthy white man. Loves me to bits. Love him to bits. Listen, anytime I walk into, I can't even tell you who it is because you probably will know. Yeah. But like, anytime, let's say.
I'm going to say this. I believe white men in general, okay, they do, I believe us white men show more love and respect to black women, okay? And I'm going to tell you why that is, okay? It's not that we're better men or nothing like that. I don't believe one person is better than the other. One racial group's better than that. I don't believe that at all. What makes us a success or failure are decisions in life. Okay? But us as white men, we generally do treat black women better. You know why? Because we don't expect black women to be there for us, to uplift us, to, fight for us, to hold us down. Okay, we're not expecting that. In fact, in our community, we got to hold down the woman and protect the woman and provide for her and do all that. So we're not expecting that from the black woman. Okay? But when a black woman shows us love, we embrace it. We cherish it. Okay? Because we didn't expect it. We had to prove ourselves and prove that we're a good man to get her to fall in love with us, to receive that love. We had to put in the work. It wasn't automatic. So yes, we're going to treat that woman better because of that. And I'm telling you, women, you gotta have your standards. Okay? And men, believe it or not, will love and respect you more when you have standards. They might not like it, but you'll find out who the men that really love you are. If they want to get physical with you right away and you just started dating, that's a big red flag. That's a no-go. But you hold your standards, that guy either he loves you enough to wait, or he's going to go somewhere else. Anyway. What's that? Black men stopped marrying black women mostly in the late 60s. Black men stopped paying child support and stopped taking being a husband and a family seriously. Yeah, well, that's when the marriage rate started dropping. And look, it's not just the black community marriage rates have gone down. Every group, our marriage rates have gone down. This ain't just a black issue. This is a nation issue. Okay? It's just that the black communities, their marriage rates are at the bottom. Okay? And, and I hear so many people say, well, marriage is just a piece of paper. It don't matter. As long as you love each other, you can have kids and just live together. Yeah, but that marriage is a commitment between a man and woman and God. And it's been proven that children that have both parents usually do better than children from single parent households. Okay? But anyway, I'm just saying. Okay, I'm gonna show this video real quick. I'm gonna show two more: a black woman and a black man speaking. Okay, and let me show you this real quick. This is an older video of a young lady talking about dating white men. Okay, and listen to what she says. And I've heard black women talk about white men like this. And especially traditional white men. They're going to see the character. Okay? But anyway, let's show this video.
I had that issue with Caucasian men. Sex was never brought up. They just wanted to just love on me. And I mean, to the point where I dated this one guy and he would pick my food up from the table and carry it to my car. He would hold the door for me. When I got in the car, he would close the door. He would get on his side,
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Because I think.
Okay. Now, not all white men are going to treat you like the guy treated that young lady, right? Okay? But traditional white men will be like that. They'll show you love. They understand that The sex part comes later. It comes if you have true love in marriage. Okay? And look, that's the right way to be. You know, you got to establish love before you get physical. You got to establish it's real. You got to establish you can live together. You're compatible. You have the same values. You know what I mean? You got to make sure that it's not just built on lust, because if it is, it's going to fail. Now, are there some men and women that get together, lust after each other, and somehow fall in love and end up having a great marriage? Yeah, that does happen, but it's very rare. Usually it don't. Okay? But anyway, I thought that was a neat video. And she's saying that, and you know what? That might have an impact on her opening up her options later on. Had a good experience with a white guy, she might end up marrying a white guy. You know, with my life, I had good experience with black women. Guess what? I married a black woman. You know, let me tell you something. Black women are amazing. They'll make you better than you ever thought you could be. Okay? And I've seen black women uplift men, whether they're black or white. Black women, the minute they're in a relationship with you, they start pouring. They start pouring their love. You know, they start, it's like their, it's like your goals turn into her goals, and she just starts making you better. And I've shared that. And with my wife, you know, with her love and having my back, you know, I was able to accomplish things that I never thought I could. Now, of course, my haters say that my wife carried me and I was a loser and all this crap. But, you know, I've always paid my way. You know, even out of high school when I had to do better in reading, okay, my wife helped me with that. But I still had to provide. I still had to work. I still got my Army career, still retired, still got my career today. And the reason I have what I have is because my wife poured into me, loved me, believed in me, had faith in me, you know, and motivated me and made me believe. That's what black women do. And a number of black women do that for men. And, you know, and guys, you probably seen it where she pours into that man and, you know, he levels up and then leaves her for another woman because of skin tone or some superficial stupidity or whatever. But see, what I did, my wife built me up, so all the blessings I got from that, I returned to my wife. The wealth I've accumulated, my wife gets to, you know, benefit from that. So we both benefited from each other. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. Anyway, sorry about that. Hey, Shelly, good to see you.
Hey Brent, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yeah, I just thought I would talk about this. What I call love supremacy is true love. Okay, and then the privilege of being loved by a black woman. And I said that's more powerful than any other privilege. It's a lot more power than any type of so-called white privilege. You know what I mean? The privilege of my wife with her love and having my back led to me having privilege. Of course, I had to work and make it happen, but without the love and the confidence, you know, it won't happen. And that's my thing. My real privilege as a man came from black women. Okay? And you can call it white privilege. I guess black women gave me white privilege if that's the case. But that is true privilege. That is a blessing that a lot of people overlook. A lot of black men take that for granted. And I guess because it's automatic, so they just take for granted they're always going to have it. And if they want to date and marry out, the black woman will always be there. But things are changing, times are changing. Um, but anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that. What's that woman's name that was in the pink dress with the hair?
Oh, Shay Sade.
Yes.
Yeah, she's not down with the swirl, to say the least. She's for the black man. Okay, and that's fine, but she's putting out false information. White men don't go hard in the paint for any group of women. We just don't do that. I'm kind of an exception because of my channel, but white men, they just date, marry who they want. And a lot of white men are with Asian women, but you don't see them online, going hard in the paint for the Asian woman. They just don't. They're just doing their thing. And she uses that to say, well, if white men really liked you, why weren't they going hard in the paint for you? And that's a deception. And the thing with the beauty standard, that's another one. Okay? And the thing of it is a man's standard of beauty is his wife. Okay? And that's really what it is. Of course, there's some racist white men that say, oh, white women are better or whatever. But mostly men look at beauty as the women that they're around, the women that they date and they're married to. Um, and that's what it is. And, and here's my thing. I think in today's world, the beauty standard could very easily be the black woman. If black men stood up for black women and say, no, our women are the most beautiful, they're the best, and, went hard in the paint for the black woman, other groups of people would think higher of a black woman. Okay? And I blame the men for that. I do. But one thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. So what you said?
No, and I'm just saying that I blame the men for that. Um, and if and people look at that and they say, well, if your men are bashing you, of course they're not going to respect the men because they're going to like, wow, you bash your own women like that? You talk about them like they're garbage? Like, what man's going to respect another man for that? Now, if they say the white woman's their preference and that's who they love and, leave it at that, that's fine. But just saying, they do it better and you're not doing what you're supposed to, and it's almost like a shame thing, like trying to punish a black woman, you know. But
And
that's what I see. I don't. But and it's almost like some of these guys don't want to see black women being loved, and they darn sure don't want to see a white man benefit from a black woman, or see a white man receive love from black women. I have haters out there that get pissed off if a black woman makes a nice comment and says, Roadrunner, keep doing what you're doing. You and Sandy are amazing. It's like they hate that. Like, you're just supposed to hate me because I'm a white guy, and I'm not supposed to uplift black women. And I can marry one, but I gotta, shut my mouth and not say nothing and go away. But I ain't going to do that. But anyway,
I just feel like black women like her there's a slight echo. Um,
okay,
I just feel like black women like her. is like I was we were talking about last week are so embarrassing because the the love that she has for black men is not reciprocated, right?
Right. Right.
Now, she spoke about the beauty standard, like who made the beauty standard. Like how you gonna get mad because a race of people find their own race beautiful? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy to me. They like the way that they look. It's nothing wrong. It's nothing racist to think that your race is beautiful more than anybody else. Some people might say, but I don't see it like that. You understand what I'm saying? Many black women have come online over the years and told the world that black men do not find their hair attractive. And I am a witness to that. Like when I wear my hair natural, I am not approached by black men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Black men didn't create a standard of beauty for black women. But she's going to be upset because white men put the standard of beauty as the white woman. He's a white man. So who is he supposed to find more beautiful? The white woman.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
Okay?
there's not. And
So she's upset because that's the standard of beauty. So why aren't black men making natural haired black women the beauty standard? They claim that they like natural hair, but then when you go on their Instagram pages, they have if they do like black women, it's the black woman that have a bust down. Is the black woman that wearing the weave. Okay? Is the black woman that's wearing the wig. Okay? That's who they choose. I'm telling you, I have been side by side with um with my natural hair, with my afro, and with literally sitting beside a black woman with a bust down. The baby hairs, or what they call baby hairs, is right down to their eyebrows with their those long lashes, and they gravitate to her.
you,
So I'm not
you know,
understanding where is this they love natural hair and it's because black women is not women. That's not true. They do not like natural hair black women. They did not create a safe space for black women to feel beautiful.
right. I believe that. Look, in my wife's family, a lot of the men that have black wives or black girlfriends, a lot of them have weave. But
Exactly.
most of them are not natural. Okay. Um, and here's the thing, and you're right what you say about the natural thing. Okay, I never really cared if my wife wanted a weave or braids or natural. I'd be okay. You know, I love my wife. Um, I do like the natural look, and I like braids. Okay, um, and you know what I found beautiful back in the day, it is when black women in the 70s would grow their hair out and have the afros. I always thought black women were beautiful with their hair like that. And and you very rarely see a black woman with an afro like that. But I always thought it was beautiful. Some people thought it was like a militant look, and I didn't. I thought it was awesome. Look, when I help my wife take her braids out, her hair grows so much. And I just think it's beautiful. I tell her, you got to just wear it like that, but she won't. She's like, no, no, no. That was back in the day, and I'm like, okay. Which I thought the Jerry curl was a beautiful hairstyle for black women back in the day. But you'll never
Mhm.
see black women wear that today. But they did back when I was in high school. Oh my God, it was like a common thing.
Mhm.
My
It
wife
it is
had
it,
one
it's
back in the
so
day.
it's so weird now to see black women with their afro because I still rock my afro when I take my braids out or my twist out, and
Yeah.
you should see the look. Like I like it's crazy. Like people, I don't know if they're scared or it's just weird. Like I rocked my fro, and let me tell you, no black man came up to me and was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair." I wore my hair out, and it's like some people. It's weird. They stare at you. They're afraid to talk to you, but then they speak to you when you had your hit when when I had my hat on or when I had my twist. It's like they're afraid
Yeah.
too.
Hey, we got
Yeah, like it's crazy.
we got we got some dust in the building. KLAP M3B. Opportunists are black women like pickpockets, fetish. Whatever. You're out of here.
I
Go
didn't
get a
see his
life.
comment. What did he say?
Oh, you want me to show it? Yeah, that's what he says. Black women
Opportunists are black women.
like pickpockets. And then he says fetish. Of course, it's a fetish. Look, dude. Nobody fetishes more than black men. I'm just going to say it. Look, you can leave with that fetish crap. All right. No, I just sometimes get a little dust in here. You got trolls that want to come up and you know. But anyway, no, go ahead.
There,
What you're saying? Sorry.
there's a clip of Kendra G going around um, where she's talking to Cam Newton. And I recently had a back and forth online with black women about this same sentiment as well, because Cam Newton asked her who gets more grace in interracial relationship, black men or black woman. And Kendra G said correctly, black women because of the numbers, because more most black women still prefer black men, and black men don't like it's not reciprocated. Black men date whoever they want to date, you know. And she didn't stop there. Like she was like, but not me. You know what I'm saying? And do you remember when I spoke about, was it last week or the week before, about my coworker? I was listening to the video about career boost, and she was like, "Oh, it's like I was laughing about how women are going over to Korea to getting boyfriends and husbands." And I was like, "Oh, they're talking about women, going over there and get." And she was like, "Oh, but not me because I love my black men." And I didn't say anything. I was like, "Whoa." So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's like a glitch. It's like, but not me. You know what I mean? She was like, "Well, I still love my black man. I encourage black women to date out because if they don't, they're never going to get married, because either the black man is married or he's with other races of women, and the numbers are not in black women's favor. So if black women want to get married, they have to open up their options." And she goes, "Well, not me. I just can't do it. The richest man that ever like tried to court me was a white man, but I can't do it because I went to Africa and I went to Ghana, and I saw the slave ports where the white men, were in the black woman, and I just couldn't do it because of history. I just couldn't do it. But I would never um unencourage black women to date out. I just couldn't do it. And I'm just like, look at this damn woman. The amount of black men that would sit down and talk about the white man is the devil, and the white man is the colonizer, and the white man and white supremacy, and then would get up and date and marry the white oppressors' daughters and mothers, right?
Right.
When I tell you that black men do not care about the past, about slavery, they don't look at it the same way. She's looking at it like she can't date a white man because of what happened in the past. But
Well,
Black men don't. And the thing is that um this is why black men could have more success in the way they don't hold on to the past like black women do.
Yeah.
They could talk about white supremacy all day, but they would get up and be the first one. They date out at 10 times the rate as black women, but yet still they're the most oppressed. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
the white supremacy is out to get them. Everybody's out to get them, but they date every other race of women at a higher rate. They don't
Right.
look at it. Black women are still stuck in the past. And I went back and forth with women online. I'm like, y'all here talking about the colonizers, but the black men that's been colonized, they date the colonizer's daughter. I said, y'all need to get with the program and open up your options, because if you're going to sit down there with and Kendra G is not even married. She would have been married if she had got with the white man that's was so rich, but she's still holding out on black men.
Yeah, but the thing I would ask Kendra G. Okay, she went over Africa and seeing the slave castles and all that, but did she study it? How they moved slaves across Africa from the deserts and the jungles to get them, to the shoreline to be
Of
sold
course
and
not.
traded. It wasn't
Of course
white
not.
men going over there doing that. It was black men doing it from other
Thank you.
tribes, and they
Exactly.
see, yeah, they seen the other black people. They didn't see them as all black. I know we say black people sold their own people, but really they were different tribes. They didn't look at each other as the same. It's almost like Europe, right? You have like the French and Germans fighting. They don't look at it. Oh, we're fighting our own people. No, they're different nations, right? Yeah, they're both the same color, but how they got the slaves to those slave castles, the logistics behind it. If you really study it, it took hundreds of thousands of people to move these people. Uh, they weren't going to just come out of their tribe and just volunteer to be slaves. You had to capture them. You had to fight them. You had to force them. And it was a long process that took a lot of people. And a lot of these tribes, the slaves they didn't sell, you know what they did? They sacrificed them to the gods. They unalived a lot of them. So we don't talk about that because, it takes away the narrative that the white man's a racist and the problem to the whole world, right? And I would just ask her, did she study that part? Because when you study history, you got to study all of it, not the parts that make you look good and the other side look horribly bad. And I'm not excusing slavery. It was an evil thing that should have never happened. But it was a global thing. It happened in every country, every continent. Every racial group of people participated in it. Every group of people were enslaved. So, and, I think people don't research the whole truth. They just go on what they learned and just run with that. There are some people that think America invented slavery. I'm serious. That they said white people created slavery. No, they didn't. The Egyptians were doing it long before then. The
Exactly.
Arabs were practicing it. It wasn't something that a bunch of racist white guys got together. Hey, Bob, let's enslave these people because we don't like them because they're different. It wasn't like that. People were conquered and they were enslaved. And if you were conquered, if they didn't unalive you, guess what? They turned you into a slave. It was cruel, it was wrong, but that's the way of the world. And I don't want to get into slavery, but I'm just saying, study the whole truth. And if we did that, if we told the whole truth and not just selected thing, I think we'd look at each other differently. You know, um, but
I agree. I agree because and I want to just give I don't want to disrespect your channel, but I got that clip from another YouTuber,
Uh-huh.
and she actually brought that up, the point that you made as well. I don't know if you want me to say her name, but she encourages
If she don't if that content creator don't mind, I don't mind.
her name is Chrissy.
Oh,
She
okay, Chrissy.
encourages, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, she encourages black women to date out as well. And
Yeah, I've heard her. I've
yes.
listened to her
So
videos.
I
Yeah.
got that clip from her, and she brought that fact up. She was like, "But what about the black men that was selling those slaves? The white men couldn't get in there without the aid of the black men, but it's just like women like Kendra G would give black men a pass, um, and not white men, and it ties into this topic about she's just going. Yeah, what's the woman? Shay, whatever her name is. She's just
Shay
going so hard for
Sade.
black. Yeah,
Yeah.
Shay Sade. She's just going hard for black men and talking about the past, but she doesn't talk about what you said about the black men that aided and abetted in their own slavery, in the transatlantic slavery. And and she just keep on going about the standing of beauty. She needs to question black men why they don't make black women the standard of beauty. Black men always get a pass.
Right. Well, it's with that. It's the same thing with the welfare took the black man out of the home. You know. And it's like they blame the black woman. It's like, okay, if that happened and you know it happened, why don't you fix it? Get a home. You could get a job. You can save up for a home. Buy a home. Find you a black woman that loves you. Marry her and put her in the home, and you get in the home with her and build a family.
And you know
Nothing's
what's so funny,
stopping
Brent?
that.
And you know
Nothing.
what's so funny, Brent?
Yeah.
The whole welfare took black men out of the household is based on a lie as well, because people don't do their research. The whole thing lasted about 4 years, and it wasn't. It was only in, I think, 6 states, I believe. It wasn't all over America. Okay, and it was the reason why they was kicking the men out. They were kicking the men out of the household who were not married to the woman that they
Yeah.
were living with.
Yeah. And well,
That is what it was about.
and you know, and that's what at the time the taxpayers were upset because there were single mothers with children and a man living in there that wasn't the father of the children. That
Right.
created problems. But it had a negative reaction because then you had welfare, uh, what do they call them? Uh, Case workers or whatever that would go in the home and look for signs to see if a man was in there. And they'd be waiting in the bushes and seeing if she had a man in the house, which to me that's a violation of your civil right. I mean, that's your home. That's a violation. That is wrong.
Well, the whole thing. Well, you have to understand, Brent. This is why people have to have understanding of what that is,
Yeah.
because the whole preference was that if you have a whole grown man in the household, then he should be able to provide for you and your family. So
Right.
if he is not provided, then what is he doing there? You understand what I'm saying? So you are pimping the system because you have this man in there that's not working, that's not providing for your kids, and the money is supposed to feed you and that child. But the money that we're giving you is feeding you, the child, and that grown man that is absolutely doing nothing. And these men were not married to those women.
Right.
You see, people don't understand that, and Cynthia G did a whole thing about that, where she spoke about that is what it was about, and it wasn't across America. I think it was in, I'm not mistaken, this was a while back, like 3 years ago. she did the video. It only was in, I think, 6 days, and it only lasted 4 years. It wasn't this whole thing. It was like, if you are there, why isn't the man working to provide for your children? And if he's not, he shouldn't be living there with you. That is what it
Right.
was about. So people took it and they flipped it, and saying that, oh, they went in there and threw the man out because they wanted to get rid of the black man. No. If you are living there, you should be able to provide for your family. And if you can't provide for your family, then he shouldn't be eating up all the food. You can't ask the government for help for you. You're a single mom, but you have a grown man up in there eating all the food. No, he got to get out. Or if he's staying, though, he should be the one providing for you. And
Right.
that's what it was about. And it wasn't even created for black women. It was created for white women because of the war.
You know what? I love watching Cynthia G. Okay, I'm one of those cloud fans, you might say. You know what I mean? She makes me laugh, and I watched her back in the day when she was like anti-white, when she was like, pro black man, and down for the black man, and I don't know. She's just good at what she does, but she would make me laugh, right? I didn't like what she was saying, but it was just funny the way she put things. But she has a way of breaking it down to where you can understand it. I wish I could articulate it that good. I mean, like the thing with the welfare taking the man out of the home, and then she talked about the most involved fathers, and and broke that down. And the thing of it is, that was like a study of what it ended up being 4,000 fathers, but that's supposed to reflect America. But she broke it down, and she did her research. You could tell because she had like where they were saying this study wasn't it wasn't it's not reliable, and because of how they did it, it was a mail-in survey is what it was. But black men ran with it and said, yeah, we're the best fathers, we're more involved. And I understand why they did, because there's oh, here he comes again. All right, bye-bye, you're out of here. uh but she broke it down, and this should be a wake up call for black men. Is Cynthia G, because look, she was pro black man all the way, and for her, I'm pretty sure she loves the black man. Black man it's black men or nothing, but she sees the nonsense, and that should be a wake up call. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody that's so pro black and uplifts black men that much, but now she's exposing all this stuff, I don't that
But it's the same with me. I was pro black man as well. But
yeah.
life and reality shows you different. Even the YouTube creator Chrissy at one point as well was pro black man, and she switched. Now she doesn't date black men anymore, and encourages black women to do to open up their options. She doesn't say, to not date black men, but she's like, listen, if you want a certain lifestyle, if you want to move up in life, you want to get married, you have to date out. You can't just be stuck with black men, because black men are not staying just stuck with black women. And this is what Cynthia G came to the realization. And the fact that they're lying about welfare, they're lying about a whole bunch of stuff and putting it on black women. And she did her own research and trying to teach other black women. She was one of the black women on YouTube that woke me up. I used to go back and forth with Cynthia G. She blocked me. And I had to go back and apologize. When she came back on her channel, I was like, yo, me and you used to go back. And she remembered. I had to apologize. I was like, yo, I was wrong. Because I see what you were trying to say. You understand? I'm saying it wasn't clear. But I realized that these men don't care. Black women practice limerence with black men.
You know what's
You know,
amazing?
mhm.
You know what's amazing, Shelley? I tell black women, like, open up your options to get the best option, because a bigger pool, you have a higher success rate, right? But you know what's amazing? Guys like me that love black women, that are in the black women, and black women are only 7% of the population. And amazing thing is, those of us that are in the black women, and we go about it the right way, we end up doing better than our white counterparts that go with white women or other groups of women. We do better, and we're dating from a smaller pool of women, and we're not the preference. The black man is. So it's like we got such a small area. If you're only into black women like me, people think I'm crazy, but that's just black women have my heart. It is what it is. But I could be as successful as I am with love and marriage, and having to get out of my comfort zone, get dating and marrying out. And I do better than men in my own community at my same economic level. And the reason is, it's not that I'm smarter or better than them. I'm not by any means. But I have that, what I call the privilege of being loved by a black woman. My wife has made me believe I can do anything because of the love she had for me, the faith. And I didn't feel pressure to do it. I wanted to do it for her because she was such a blessing to me. And I look at that, and it's like, I tell me, I said, get to know the black woman, because you don't even know the blessing, the treasure that you're missing out on. And they'll say, well, they only want to be with black men. Well, that ain't necessarily true. Black women marry black men more than any other group, but there are a lot of black women that want to open up their options. And I found that out back in the 80s. Like, I was like, wow, there are black women that will date me and they'll be into me. I was like an awesome surprise, It was like but I knew I wasn't the preference, and that's okay. I don't need to be. I need one wife. And I tell people that. Black women are the best option. And don't get caught up. And the reason I brought up the most desired is I want people not to get caught up and just go to the group that they're most desired. Because if I would have done that, I would have stayed with white women or dated Asian women, right? I wouldn't open up my options to black women because statistically, I'm not the preference at all. But, sometimes people don't see the truth as it is in real time. A lot of times we're behind at what we look at things. We're looking at old data. We're looking at old things. And the black woman today is a lot more open to dating and marriage to a white man than she was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I've seen that change.
Hmm. And I think it has to do also with women, like Cynthia G and Chrissy and even the Pink Pill. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? These women are saying to black women, like, listen, you can't be stuck in the past. These black men, like I said before, they would sit down online, talk about white supremacy all day. Okay? Me being a Hebrew Israelite, they would talk about the white man, this and that, and turn around and say they can marry a white woman and it doesn't matter because the children are still going to be black. It didn't, but they would tell the Israelite woman that they can't marry the white man, but they can marry any other race of woman on the planet, and that's what I find hypocritical. And that was one of the reasons why I left. So it was like a whole conglomerate of things. Life come at you hard, and like my homegirl, I forgot her fucking singer name that says life has a funny way of sneaking up on you. I forgot her name. Oh, it had God, it just slipped my mind. Um, but reality, it would wake a lot of people up. When I go out there, I don't see the same. Even the black man that was laying down talking about black men is the most desired. He's not. They're just worried about sex. That's all
Right.
he talks about is being desired by other races of women. They don't care about building. They don't care about building for their communities. When do you see a black man get together and say, "Hey, you know, black women are being discriminated in the hospitals. When black women go into the hospitals to give birth, they're dying at a higher rate. Let's come together and build clinics, right, for black women so they can go and can give birth to our children so they can be safe." No, they're sitting up there worrying about no,
That,
we're the most desired. Like if black women don't wake up and realize that these men are failures, I don't I'm not gonna be I'm gonna give them grace because I used to contend with Cynthia G. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm better. But
yeah.
at a certain point, you got to realize that these men don't care. All they care about is being loved on by other races. Well, you see how he's fighting? It's not white men that's the most desired. It's black men. That's all they care about. They don't care about anything else.
And you know what's funny about that? Is I look at that, okay, you're the most desired. Congratulations. I don't care. What's that even mean? If we're going to say the most desired man, well, celebrity men are the most desired. Okay. And it's and why do you got to have that title? It's like, who cares? I mean,
You saying that who? Why do they have to have that title? Who cares? Well, they
yeah,
care because what other titles are they going to have?
right.
Like, are they going to say that we're the most conquered? They're not going to say that, but they are the
No,
most conquered, right? So they have to oh, what's the word?
uplift
They,
themselves to be,
of
yeah,
course, to say that they're not going to come out here and say that we're the most builders, right? They're going to say that we're the most dominant in sports, but they're not going to say that we're the most owners in sports. Yeah, you
right.
you dominate basketball, you dominate football, but you don't own no league. Okay, that's cool, right? So that's the only thing that they have to offer is peace. They don't mind getting fetish when these women talk about, well, what do you love about black men? They don't say we love black men because they're resilient and because they're strong or because they're leaders and they're builders. They know they say that they even my white coworkers when she was like, oh my God, you don't date black men, they were shocked. She was like, I said no. I said, what's the big deal? Oh, oh my God, I only date black men. Of course, she's a single mom.
Yeah.
But I didn't say that because that would have been an issue. But she's getting on my nerve. You know what I mean? And you know what she spoke about to me? Guess what she spoke about to me, Grant?
I don't know.
Now, let me tell you.
Her fetish.
Listen closely.
Okay.
Ooh, everybody, listen closely in the chat. And this is exciting. She said that black men have bigger penis and they have more prowess in bed.
More what?
More prowess.
More prowess?
Prowess. Yeah, they go harder
Mm.
in bed,
Okay.
right? So now this is a white woman that never been with any other race of men. So how would she know that they go more harder in bed? That's number
Well,
one. I clocked it. I clocked it. But this is the thing, Grant. That's all she spoke about. She didn't say
right.
that they were builder.
There's no value.
Right.
And they go on a stereotype because that's what they hear.
Right.
And but if that's all you got to offer, I mean,
But that's all they care about offering.
but yeah, it's a
They don't
total
care about
fetish.
anything else. Right. So they thrive on the fetish.
Oh,
So they're the most desired because of their penis, and they don't care. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they want to be known as.
right.
But she didn't say, oh, they're the most loyal, because she complained about how they cheat on her all the time.
And you know what's funny about that stereotype? If they can't live up to it, oh my God, that is a ego crushing thing. I'm just,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's the first thing that came out of her. And I listened to her. I'm like, okay, fine. All right, I don't got no problem with her being like
Yeah, I mean, if that's
the
what you're,
white
if
guy.
that, right, if that's what you're after, do you? I mean, I
Right.
just, you know, I just, the thing of it is that's why their marriages don't work. It's all fetish and lust. Which is
Exactly.
funny because us white men, if we say we love black women, it's automatic a fetish. Um, I've been married 32 years and people call me a fetishizer. And I never talk about black women's body parts. I don't talk about black women in a sexual sense. The only time I talk about sex is I say, you know what, wait till you're married. That's the only thing I say about that. I don't talk about black woman's body. I don't talk about her curves. I don't talk about in a sexual way at all. Because I have more love and respect for black women to do that. You know what I mean? When you talk about sexual things, that's between you and your wife, and you know that's it. I've had some goofy white dudes come up here. I had one goofy Asian dude that wanted me to talk about sexual experience with black women, and you know I blocked him. I kicked him off my platform because that's not what my channel's about. It's about opening up your options to marriage, not to an experience, not about a sexual thing. Um, and I can't have weirdos like that on my channel because we're already accused of being fetishizers, right? Um, but I look at black women or black men and white women, and they fetishize each other all the time, and they're never checked. But if I say a black woman's hair is beautiful, oh my God, they try to make me out to be the most lustful dude on the block. I just, the
Yeah,
hypocrisy is crazy.
and that's what I find annoying because when you listen to these black men rappers, well, now these rappers don't put black women in their music videos anymore because black women was like, listen, all well to you guys is just a big butt. Like that's all they would talk. Oh, you got a fat ass and all that. And now they have a Latinas and the white woman in the music video. And let them have it. That's what they prefer. Black women need
Right.
to stop. You know, and now they was upset about that. I'm like, no, listen. Do you want to be objectified or do you not? Make up your mind.
Right.
You
You
understand what I'm
know,
saying?
I did a video a while back, probably like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe even 3 years ago. I talked about Kay Michelle, right? She did a surgery to make her butt bigger, have more curves, right? And she almost lost her life because I guess it broke inside and her body got poisoned.
Yes, I remember
And
that
they
video.
yeah, they had to have emergency surgery. I mean, she could have lost her life real easy. And the thing about Kay Michelle is she's a beautiful woman. She don't need to do that to her body. She was already naturally curvy anyway. But she felt, because of the industry, that the bigger the better. And tell me that ain't a fetishization.
Of
You,
course it is, but they don't
and
look at it like that.
it ain't white men pushing black women to get big butts. It's not. They're not telling Megan the Stallion or Cardi B or to do that. But yet we're the fetishizer. I just it blows my mind. Then I look at guys like Umar Johnson, the 5'5", thick in the thighs. He says heaven's between the black woman's legs. He said that. And you're going to call me a fetishizer? Like, but he don't get checked. Isn't that crazy?
Who him that didn't build the school yet?
Yeah.
That's like
Well, he did.
20 years. He who believes
Yeah.
in the black family but is not married to a black woman.
Yeah. Has 3 kids by 3 different women, but
Right.
couldn't marry any of them.
These listen.
Yeah.
These men are trash.
Yeah, they are. But what I'm saying is the hypocrisy out there. And I mean, you can hold me to a higher standard. You know, I embrace that. I want people to expect more out of me. But I mean, when he fetishizes black women in their face and don't get checked, and there's still a lot of black women that give him money. He lives off the backs of black women.
But yet still he will come on black men's podcast and say that black women don't hold the black men down when it was black women that was holding him down the whole time. I'm trying to tell you, this is why, man, this is why when I tell you that reality hits too hard, I ooh, I just stopped caring for black men. Like I really saw them for who they are.
Yeah, it's crazy, but I'm not supposed to talk about that. I'm supposed to just shut up, be happy with my black wife, and get off YouTube and
No,
be
you should talk
silent.
about it. Why? You know why
No,
you should
I
talk
know
about
I
it? Though?
should, and I will.
Yeah,
But
because when
that,
they're when they're with their white wives or their Asian wives, they still got black women in their mouth. Oh, and this is what I wanted to tell you about the white co-worker that I was telling you about.
uh huh.
The only reason I was really talking, I tolerated her. I don't talk to her anymore anyway. Is because the white guy I was dating, they were friends, and
Oh.
even she admitted, she was like, you being with the white guy, your relationship lasts longer than white women and black men. And and I swear to God, that's what she said. That's what, so even she knows that. Like I said, like she's a single mom with 2 kids. Um,
Yeah.
and she came back to me and was complaining about the black guy that she was cheating on her with her coworker and stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't got these problems, honey. You know.
Yeah, that's funny. It's funny. I was talking to one of my rivals one time, and he's saying, "Well, what about when white women fetishize us?" And it was like he was proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, "You like that?" And no, I don't know, but I'm just saying. So he hadn't made a point that he was fetishized. Like that's a pride. Like like it's the ultimate thing to be.
One black man literally said with his chest, I forgot where it is. He
uh,
said that white men conquered the world, but black men conquered the bedroom.
oh,
If
they
I find the
conquered the
video, I'm gonna
bed.
send it. I know, I'm serious. Like it was a thing. He said it.
Oh yeah, and you know what else is a thing? Is they say black women should be loyal to black men, right? But black men can do it because you know why? And I heard a black man say this, and I couldn't believe he said it. But looking back, I believe I. But what he said is, he says when they get with white women, they're taking the slave master's daughter, his wife, his it's a way of getting back at the white man for all the evil the white man did. And I'm like, so you're going to get with a woman that is into you, have sex with her, and pretty much, dump her just so you could get to the white man? Like, that to me,
Yeah, they
that's
think that
crazy.
they
It,
think
it,
they think with their lower parts
right.
because they think that they use sex as dominating. No, you dominate by dominating, like jobs, resources. But they don't think that. They don't think like that. Can I say something really quick before I forget, Grant?
Yeah.
Can you please put up that comment? The lady said that black welfare didn't kick black men out of the house; they left.
Did I have that video up?
No, 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 no. Somebody just commented in your chat.
Oh yeah, I put that comment up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay.
thought you
So,
were asking me if I could play a video that had that. I was
oh, no,
like,
no, 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 no. I wanted to piggyback to that. Um, the people that was coming to the household to check was because the woman was going to the welfare saying they needed help because they were single and they had children. Okay. And
okay.
the people would come to the house to check because if you need help from the government to feed your children, there could not be a man in the household because the man was the provider. So we need to come across that the welfare kicked them out. No, if you were not married to that woman, if you were not sick, if you were not maimed by the war or whatever, you should not be there.
Right.
So that is what that is. We need to start speaking the truth. You understand? They wasn't just coming there to make sure that the man wasn't in the house. They were coming there to make sure that the money that they were giving the woman for her and her children to eat, that grown man was not eating the food.
Right.
That's what that was about. So when we hear topic like this again, and people bring that up, I want you and the person that made the chat that made a comment, I want you to bring that up. No, it was
Right.
because if the men were there, the men should provide for their household. And if he's living there, he should be married. He should not be there eating up all the food.
Right. Right.
We need to start telling the truth. And the reason why people don't tell the truth is because the people that's giving the information is not giving all the information. They're telling lies.
Right.
So moving
Well,
forward, we have ammunition. Okay? And I'm gonna see if I could get I don't know if Cynthia G would be okay with it. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna have to email her to see if we could review that topic. Where she did like 2 videos about the welfare system and how it didn't come to kick black men out because of hate, or black women didn't kick black men out of the household. It was like, no, if you're not married to the woman, you should not be here, sir. You should be working and taking
yeah.
care of your family, and you're lying on the system. So they were coming there to make sure that the woman was telling the truth.
You know
Why is
what?
he here and he's eating up all the food, man? No, you got to cut that welfare off. You need the
Right.
money, and the children need the money. Why is he here? And this black woman would hide these men in the closet, would hide these men until the people left. They were pimping the system, and that's what it
Right.
was about. But when
Well,
these
that.
men they tell half truth. They don't tell the truth. They don't tell the whole thing.
Right. Well, you know that thing is going on to this day. There are men that will get with women on welfare, shack up with them, and live off their resources.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of women that are okay with it because they got a man in the house. They're not lonely. And if you're a man, that's pretty pathetic. Having to live off a woman and her children's resources. That to me is not a man. That's just disgusting. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
look, welfare. These people ain't rich. They get the bare minimum. So a single mother with her children's got to feed herself and her children. And when you throw a guy in there, and men eat a lot, then the children get less resources. You know, it just
And that was the whole thing why they were popping up. And it
yeah.
only lasted a couple. It didn't last like no damn 10 years, and it was not across all the 50 states. It was only in about six. And like
Six
I said,
states.
I don't quote me on it because when Cynthia G did this, I think it was like about 4 years ago when she did this. Or it might have
Yeah.
been five. I don't remember, but she broke it down. She did 2 videos about it, like 3 hours long.
You know what was funny is You remember when she did that video where she called the welfare office and said, "Hey, I was wondering, are they kicking black
Yes.
men out of the house?" I was just
Listen,
laughing. Like
they don't call Cynthia the goat for nothing, okay?
I was like, "Oh my
Listen,
god."
Cynthia G is it, okay? She is that woman.
Hey, she is, and you
You
know
understand?
what's crazy is
They call her the
she.
eagle because she's so hot.
Oh god,
When you see the picture of the eagle, that's Cynthia G. Because some people don't want to put her name, but anytime you see in a chat, you see the eagle, that's Cynthia G.
I tell you what, you go up against her, you better have your research and you better be prepared.
Yeah.
I seen one guy come up there and talk to her, and she roasted this guy like it was nothing, and she wasn't yelling, she was just calm, like just spitting facts, and he's like, well, I was like, oh my god, I was rolling laughing, I was like,
And I wish I was like her. You see how you said that you wish you could talk like her? I wish I could too. I mumble and
I
stumble
do
over my
too.
words and I forget a lot of things.
I wish I had that talent where I could break it down like she does. It's just
Yeah.
and
That's
make
a
it
weird
funny.
one.
It's well, that's why she's got what hundreds of thousands of followers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're good at something, you're good at it. Anyway, but yeah, my thing is look, we in today's world we got to open up our options. We do. We all got to have that option button, and that hidden treasure is the black woman. And I'm telling you, a black woman that loves you will be there for you. You just got to find her, you know. And I tell men that. They ask me, why is your marriage, how'd you last so long in your marriage? Well, I married a black woman. What do you, and they laugh and say, okay, all right, yeah, your wife's black and she's a good woman. But no, how did your marriage, I said, I went for the best option. And look, when here's the thing, I'm a man of faith, right? I prayed for my wife. And I went to God and said, this is what I want. Biblically it says, if you have not because you ask not. Well, when it comes to being a man of faith, I'm lacking in so many areas. And I'm a work in progress. But one thing I do right is I ask. And I prayed about it. I prayed deliberately for a black woman. Because the black women I seen are the black women that I wanted to be with. I wanted a black woman like the black women in my life. And I wanted her to be a woman of faith. I wanted her, to love me like I love her. And, I prayed specifically. And that's exactly what I got. I got more than I prayed for. And I always make that statement that my wife is proof there's a God and he loves me. Because I don't deserve my wife by any means. But I'm blessed. And the beautiful thing is she made me better and I can make her life better. And that's what a marriage is a man and woman both benefiting. You know what I mean? And I don't think we really understand true love and what a marriage is supposed to be. And a lot of women don't want to get married because they see women being abused in a marriage. Like treated like a indentured servant instead of a wife. I don't know. I could go all night about this. I don't want to get sidetracked. But, just sad. I mean, people always thought I was crazy. Well, what do you see in black women? She's just a woman. But you don't like white women? You don't like your own kind and all this stuff and all this stupidity? Look, who benefited? The same people that went in on me for having feelings for black women are not laughing now. And that's the sweet justice. I went for character. And it happened to be a black woman. But anyway, but I just want to share that. I want the world to know. You know, I mean, and white men ain't going to go out and say stuff like I'm saying. Most don't. They keep it to themselves. You know, we're not the kind to go out like she said. They're not going hard in the paint for you black women. Well, we don't go hard in the paint for anybody, not even ourselves. So that don't mean anything, you know. But anyway, but I just want to get people to see like different people's perspective. That's why I had a white woman talk about how she loves black men. I want to get that perspective. Black women's perspective. Those for
Yeah.
interracial relationships and those against it. So we hear everybody's input. And that white woman saying she loves black dude, I had no problem with what she said. It was funny because that black dude was like, yeah, yeah, okay. It would look like he
And you know
was.
what's so funny, Brent?
What's that?
Is that she goes so hard for black men and black love. But I remember, and this is why she came into my radar.
Uh huh.
Um, because of you. You showed her before about she was against interracial marriages and whatever and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I you can hear me? Oh, I'm sorry.
You went silent for a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So when just Purdy's thing came on the scene
Mm-hmm.
and black men was bigging her up, and she would go, for black men because she's all about black love, and yet and still they lift up this white woman over her, and she even made a video about why black men were bigging up this white woman and not black women that she didn't come out and say because I made a comment under her channel. I said it's funny how she was going, lifting up black men, but that black men didn't make her the queen of the internet like they did just Purdy.
Mm.
And one of her subscribers replied and said, um, that's what she really want to say, but that she's not going to say it. That she felt some type of way because she was saying all the things that just early things were saying, but the
Yeah.
black men didn't exalt her and how they exalted the white woman over her, even though she was saying the same thing as just early thing. This is why I tell you, these black women, man, most of they're lost.
Yeah. I just no. I talk about. I've used her content and reacted on it because
Yeah, that's how I found out about her.
yeah, but I do it because she's pushing a false narrative. You know, she'll say, well, less than 1% of marriages are black women, white men, which is a lie. Okay, she'll find ways to try to discourage black women. Well, white men, they're not really in the paint for you. There's a few that like black women, but most don't. And she'll say, well, who created the beauty standard, and you're not it, and all that stuff. But see, I want to go in on that and explain that the beauty standard wasn't like, oh, okay, black women ain't it. It was like their wives were the beauty standard. That's what I want people to know. And white men don't go hard in the paint for women. They just don't. I mean, how many white men are marrying Asian women? I see it all the time. These white guys are going crazy for Asian women. And I wish, Shelley, I wish sometimes that black women would be like Asian women in a way. And what I mean by that is not be afraid to snatch up a Brad from Becky. Because Asian women will do it. They don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll run in and take them and take and push Becky off that pedestal, and you know they go for what they want. You know,
Yeah, because they don't have the hang-ups that black women have. Like Kendra G said,
right?
she can't be with a Brad because of what she saw in Ghana. And I'm pretty sure when she went to Ghana, the people that was doing the tour didn't bring the fact up that these other tribes that were black men were the one that was selling them. And I've never been over there, so I can't say. But she's gonna overlook that because that's black men. And Chrissy brought out um that she said no, men are men, and she's holding white men from the past, and these white men today own no slaves. Like, how you gonna hold them to something that they're not doing? But yet and still, you're not holding black men for what they did in the past. So she brought that out as well. And let me say this too. White men did low key was bringing up black women with the whole black wife effect, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, no, but you know what's dangerous about what she said? And here's the thing. And I tell black women, if black man is all you want to be with, don't make it obvious. I mean, with Kendra G saying that, black men are thinking, yeah, we got you. You ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. I think a lot of black men, they like, hey, black women ain't going nowhere. Yeah, a few will date out and marry out, but we got you. You're not
Mm-mm.
going nowhere. We can do what we want.
Nope.
And well, yeah, no, but they believe that.
Not anymore. The reason you see a lot more black men talking about black women dating out now, because as you said,
Yeah,
that there's an avalanche.
it's changing.
Yeah, it's changing. And even with Kendra G, that she encourages black women today. That she just said that she doesn't, which like I said, I don't even know why she would bring that up. She could have just stuck to what it was, and and that
Right.
should have been it. But again, you have to a virtual signal, like Christy said, to other black men that I'm down and I'm loyal. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And no, she said a lot of black men are coming online, even with a black man that you showed him a couple of times, and he was like, "Oh, I see on TikTok nothing but black women and black men, and I don't see that in real life." And they're trying to tell black women that the black man isn't good for her, and blah blah blah. Oh no, Chrissy said that when she's out and about, she sees so much black women with white men than she saw 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's why now you're having this discussion that black men is asking about, black women and white men now, because it's
You,
changing.
you
Years
know what?
ago it was, oh, why the black man is dating white women and stuff like that anymore. Now that's not even a topic. And as the years go by, it's gonna stop. It's
Yeah.
really gonna stop. If like I said last week, with a dark skinned beautiful black woman crying, oh, you see is black men with white women and light skinned women, and when you see a dark skinned black woman is with a white man and stuff like that, yeah, that's gonna stop too. If she had opened up her options, she wouldn't care what black men are doing, but she really still wants a black man, and she's gonna get her wake up call.
Yeah. You know what's funny about that? What you said about more black women than white men. My daughter, and this was a few years ago. My youngest daughter said, "Dad, there's more black women with white men than black men with white women." I said, "No, black men, are with white women more. They date and marry out more." She says, "No, look, I see more of black women with white men." So I said, "Okay, let's do this." I said, on my day off, we're going to go to the mall. Okay, we'll go do some shopping. We'll go have lunch, and we'll look and count all the couples, interracial couples we see, and see what there's more of. And you know what? We found more of black women and white men than black men with white women. And it was almost overwhelmingly. And, we don't know how strong a couples they were, but they were together holding hands and stuff. I'm saying, look, and, she proved her point to me because we went out and did our research. We spent all day just, we went shopping. We did, we looked at what we said and, counted. Things are changing. And like I said, the avalanche effect, what that is, and that's a perfect example of black women and white men. Because it's not happening in droves right off the bat, but it's happening a little at a time, a couple at a time, and the numbers are growing. It's like snow on a mountain. You have a little snowstorm, a few snowflakes, come out of the sky and land on top of the mountain. And it does it over time, over and over, until you get so much snow that it comes roaring off the mountain like an avalanche. And that's what we're going to see in the future. We're going to wake up one day and black women with white men is going to be so common that we'll think, wow, what happened? It ain't going to happen overnight, but gradually, till one day it's so obvious. And that day is coming. And people say I'm crazy because most people only marry within their race. Well, yeah, they used to, but it's changing a lot. I see it in my family. More people opening up their options than ever. Me and Sandy used to stand out like, it wasn't common. So a lot of people would stare at us because it was unusual. But anymore, we go out in town, we see interracial couples, young and old. We see teenage kids doing it. We see people, young adults. We see people, me and my wife's age. We see elderly people doing it. I'm telling you. And I think that's a good thing. That's a beautiful thing. People are finding love and they're not, getting caught up in the skin tone worship. And that's good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I agree. Even though Kendra G was marrying, but what you said is true. Right? If black women get more grace because the numbers are not there, and she encourages black women to open up their arms.
yeah.
But anyway, Brent, thanks for inviting me up. I'm gonna go and eat now. So thank
Okay,
you.
yeah, thanks for coming up. Yeah, we've been
Thank
on
you
what?
for allowing me to come up.
Almost 3 hours? Wow.
It's all good.
Yeah, I had a good time. Thanks for coming up. It's always good talking to you.
It's always good talking to you too.
Yeah, and
Thank
hey,
you.
have a blessed weekend.
Okay,
And
you as well.
yeah, had a good time. Thanks for coming up. It's always good talking to
Um,
you.
Bye. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Have a good one. All right. Okay, everybody. I'm going to be closing this here real quick. Um, I just want to thank everybody here tonight. And I want to thank Shelly for coming up. It's always awesome talking to you, young lady. And you're always welcome up here. Um, and guys, thanks for being part of this show tonight. Okay, it's always good talking to everybody, and I hope you guys have a good weekend. I'm going to do a live stream on Rumble that Monday. I don't know what time yet. I got to put my stuff together. So I don't know what time. If I don't do it, it's not because I didn't want to. It's just getting everything together. I had a Rumble channel a couple years ago, but I shut it down and I reopened it, and it's still got my old videos up there. So I do have a Rumble channel. I also have TikTok. Okay, and you can follow me there. And I would say too, guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are thinking about starting a channel or you want some advice, I can help you. You know, and if you ever want to come up and do a show, let me know. Email me. Jennifer, I got your videos. I'm going to do something on those. Those were good videos you sent me. Yeah, but I'm going to go live on Rumble this Monday. Well, it's going to be It's going to be a pre-recorded live, okay? Till I figure out how to go live on it. But anyway, I'm going to be putting videos this weekend. I'm going to be doing, like I said, I'm going. Saturday night's my night to do this. I changed it because I got family stuff going on Saturday, where I won't be able to do my show tomorrow, so I'm doing it tonight. Okay. Next week we'll go back to Saturday. Sometimes I'll do a Friday and Saturday night. Not always. Sometime out of the blue, I might just go live on a weekend or weekday. Okay. But my thing is look, I want everybody to have that option button. I want everybody to be able to love whoever you want to love. You have a preference, okay? Find the best in your preference, okay? And don't be afraid to open up your options, okay? My thing is look, I'm down with the swirl, but I'm down with it when it leads to investment. I'm not down with it when it's lusty. I'm not down with it when it's for an experience. I'm down with the swirl when it leads to investment. Okay? And look, don't be afraid to open up your options. Okay? Don't be afraid to take your swirl to investment. Okay? But anyway, you guys have a good night. God bless you and your families, and I'll see you Monday on Rumble. Okay? I'll put more information on that. But anyway, and I'll be back Saturday night for Saturday Night Swirl. I got a live I might be plugging in. Okay? I'm working on that. So you'll probably get a live during this, during the week, and then Saturday night. So I got stuff coming down the pipe. I got material I want to do. It's just my schedule. I got to fit it all in. And I got a lot of family stuff going on. And then I'm looking at moving to Texas, and I got that going on. And, and yeah, so, but anyway, you guys have a good night. Thanks by the book. Sweet Rose, good to see you. Close your legs, good to see you. Shelly, thanks for being part of the show. Jennifer. Chris, good to see you, brother. Buy the book, always good to see you. Becoming, anyway. Nikki, good to see you. 49 Jubilee. You change your name? Okay. Good to see you, young lady. CC, always good to see you. Anyway, guys, have a blessed weekend. Okay, God bless you and your families. I'll see you I'll see you this week sometime. I'll see you Monday on Rumble. Come view my Rumble channel, okay? I'm starting it. It's new. I got some videos up, some old ones. I'm going to put more up there. I think I'm going to put my favorite videos up there. My real good ones, my one-on-one videos with content creators in the past. And, you know, people I did one-on-one shows with. And you'll enjoy those. Those of you who've been with me for a while. Okay? But anyway, have a good night. God bless you and your families. I'll see you Monday night in Rumble. Have a good night. God bless.